While I'm not completely enamored by their storytelling, I do think that Telltale executed this episode in particular much more successfully than those leading up to it. It still has all of the overarching flaws that disrupt the whole gaming experience, particularly the gameplay as opposed to the narrative, and there were parts of the episode that fell flatter than others, I thought. It started far too slowly, didn't develop Molly enough, and gave Chuck a lackluster and emotionally unsatisfying ending to a character who we didn't have enough time to become invested in. But I think that episode 4 also had more high points and more well designed segments than episode 1 through 3, and some of its more evocative imagery perfectly matched the emotional tone of the game in those places. The scene introducing the ladder leading to the attic was a fantastic example of this, as was the slow and tense introduction to Crawford. The segment in the sewer, while easy and a bit short, also did a decent enough job at capturing the panicky mood suitable for that situation. Chuck made his final appearance here as well, and while his story was too short and uninvested, this was an excellent place for his death to be revealed. It's sobering and it's undignified, and neither Lee nor the player have enough time to investigate his final moments. With all of that said, I can say tentatively that I liked this episode and the way that it played out, but it's not really what I would call complete as a video game, given all of the issues dividing the gameplay from the story. I'm going to adopt the position of a detractor first here and go over all of the issues that I've had with the story. There are many problems in the game that extend through all 5 episodes, but some of them have become very obvious by this point in the story. I thought that this was a much more difficult episode to start and to be interested in than the others. Since this is an episodic game, each individual episode has to have an independent narrative to some extent, and the narrative is affected by that. Rather than starting off with some energy and giving the feeling that the game is actually getting more intense as we're getting closer and closer to the finale in episode 5, it just starts off in a sort of meandering way. There's a bit of action to get the ball rolling like all of the episodes, but this one definitely would have benefited from a more consistent increase in tension across the board. I also can't help but bemoan the story's lack of interesting character interaction. It's strange to say that a game built around making choices through dialogue would suffer from that system, but I just don't think that there's enough development of accompanying characters to make the player care a whole lot what happens to most of them. This isn't true of all of Lee's companions, but that's to be expected. A game like this benefits a lot from prolonging interaction to reveal character in a realistic fashion, so Kenny and Clementine gain a lot where Chuck and Ben gain very little, and Krista and Omid are so forgettable out of lack of screen and dialogue time that I almost actually forgot them. I think a lot of these issues stem from gameplay decisions that Telltale's made, but I don't really want to get into the nuts and bolts of game design. I'll just say that I think the game would have gained a lot in the narrative department from being made as a visual novel, but that's not really the game we're dealing with here. And the narrative is more important than the gameplay here anyway, so as far as the story is concerned, there are a few segments in particular that I want to highlight. The relationship between Lee and Clementine is easily the most important single aspect of the game's story, and I had very little wrong with the way that it was presented here. I really appreciate the way that the story puts an increasing amount of tension on the trust that Clementine places in Lee. Since the group is moving through Savannah and they can't afford to stop and look for Clementine's parents, Lee's going to have to tell her at some point that it's very unlikely that her parents are alive and that it doesn't make much sense to look for them. This development throughout the relationship shows the harsh strain that both a parent and a child experience when the parent's forced to reveal and explain the uglier parts of the world, especially considering the unforgiving circumstances of the story and its universe. Even when they aren't under that tension, I love the way that this story confronts the difficulty that both of them feel in adjusting to the world and also to each other. The minimalism of their dialogue feels in a lot of places like it's mirroring Cormac McCarthy's The Road, actually, because in many ways these two are on an equally pointless journey and have nothing of significance to talk about with one another beyond being hungry, or being frustrated, or being sad. One of the harshest realities of the game's universe is presented in the fate of Ben. That is to say, in his death, which is the narrative sacrifice that our group decided to make. I think that the moment when you have to decide whether or not to let Ben fall and sacrifice himself is very well done. It's one of the most poignant choices that the player will face and shows the conflict between being utilitarian and being virtuous when lives are on the line. At least as far as emotional impact goes, I really thought that this was a hard moment to deal with, and it's very realistic within the game's context. Sometimes you'll have to force or allow for sacrifice in order to survive. This was a very important choice for Lee to have to make, and while none of his choices independently have that much significance, they all force assessment about personal values and morality. Episode 4 was very thematically focused on these issues, as all of them were, but I thought it was interesting what new elements this episode started to address. The previous ones are mostly about adjusting to the post-apocalyptic world, but this episode starts to show the recovery of civilization. Crawford is an interesting location because it shows that people are trying to reestablish a society after it has already totally collapsed, so the town makes sacrifices in order to allow for its continued survival. But the reactions of all of the apparently friendly groups within the game shows a resistance to society's return. Crawford is obviously a dysfunctional community, as the game shows, but it's actually making an attempt at rebuilding civilization, and yet all of our characters are completely repulsed by it. It seems to be very relevant to the modern resistance, sacrificing privacy or luxury in exchange for increased security. Both of these scenarios address how much we are willing to sacrifice in order to be safe. We have to ask, in the end, what is society worth to us, and what should that society look like? Since the game frequently makes subtle observations like this, I can't say that it's a bad game, but I absolutely hated playing it, and I guarantee that I never will again. Its story is very good, but it's also more of a framework for a complete narrative than a full experience on its own. We are now officially 33.4% of the way through this.
Oh,
seriously?
Dear God.
3.5 hours.
The journey continues.
But we have more beer, so
Previously,
we're okay.
I know,
on
right?
Walking Dead.
Cheers, everyone.
So it'll be fine.
Put them together like in line, but put the microphone slightly behind that one so it's extra echoey. It makes us really theatrical.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just need some shoes like that.
But yeah, these are pretty cool.
It's a cute walkie-talkie.
Can't I just hold it?
No.
Ain't no way that shit's happening.
About? Oh man.
Wait, this is...
Can't I just hold it?
Just
Maybe
for a
for-
little while. We're getting real close to where my mom and dad are. Maybe I can...
Not now, Clementine. Maybe later, okay? Kenny, how much farther to the riverfront?
There should be just a few more blocks up ahead.
And there'll be boats there?
There sure as hell better be.
There'll be boats. Have to be. Have to be.
Lots of
It's going to be
boats.
okay. Kenny
Big
knows what he's
boats.
doing.
Little boats.
Boats with food on them.
What the hell?
How do you know it's 20 past the hour? Which one of you has a watch?
He does.
Someone's up there!
Oh.
Are you sure?
Again,
don't see
Captain
anything.
Obvious.
I know what I saw. I'm telling you, there's someone up in that bell tower. Someone alive.
It's the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
What the hell was that? Is someone trying to fuck with us?
Everyone.
Sounded more like a warning.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls.
All right,
Hemingway.
Hemingway.
Yammering on about?
Of course, the homeless guy's read Hemingway.
It tolls for thee.
Oh, I was waiting for
Stop!
That book is literally on my nightstand right now, waiting to be read.
Everybody, run!
Oh shit.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
What is the
What
difference?
was the difference? Oh well, what fuck we would have had a drink.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, piss.
Actually, if he'd yelled "fuck," everyone would have taken it literally and just like dived on top of each other.
Or on top of zombies.
Zombie orgy.
Oh yeah, zombie orgy.
Oh shit! What if you picked silence?
No, Kenny!
Please,
Everyone,
Kenny, die.
fuck the zombies to death.
Fuck them all to death.
Well.
Oh,
Yay.
it's good to know you can't fuck up
Too
actually
close.
clicking on Kenny.
Don't you think?
Where do you complain? Someone just saved her.
Oh
Shit!
Help her!
Don't just rely on that guy.
Ben,
Ben
what do
is
you...
useless! Bye, Ben. What a douche!
God damn it!
Such a douche. Uber douche.
Oh, okay.
Run, Clementine!
Stupid kid.
Run.
Come on.
Run!
Yeah, careful.
There's a
you're
zombie
gonna
like
keep
right
to the
next to you.
No!
left. Ooh, shovel.
Nice job, Charles.
Charles in charge.
I'll catch up with you.
I'm gonna go kill Ben.
I feel like
You
he's
should.
gonna. Oh, I can ask.
Oh, give me a fucking break!
Wait, where the hell's Chuck?
Shit, he's in trouble. We gotta help him.
He already looks like a more zombie.
No choice required.
He just starts
Excellent.
shambling like in Shaun of the Dead, and they just believe he's a zombie.
I did never understand that. Like, why wouldn't or would that work? There's no rationale for either side.
Maybe it's something organic.
You okay?
Or biological. I can just sense.
Yeah.
You've opened up your wound.
It's a
You're
sixth
bleeding.
sense. They know what dead looks like.
You gotta get him inside. Clean him up. You know they can smell blood.
Lady,
There we go.
I ain't the one who's bleeding.
Let me see if I can find
Are they
us a
like
way
sharks
here.
then?
Apparently.
So
They can
hopefully
just-
no one gets their period because that would suck.
Clementine, are you okay? Isn't that Ben a bastard? Benstard?
Benstard.
Do you
Can't believe
think the
that
dead people saw us come back here? Are they going to find us?
Probably.
Probably.
They didn't
You're gonna
Seems to be
die.
the theme of the show.
I can still hear them out there. It sounds like they're getting closer.
It's just your imagination.
I'll feel safer when we're inside the house.
You're so stupid.
There's probably zombies in the house. They want to eat your face.
Well, they want to eat every part of it.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean.
Hey,
Veal.
she's
oh my
8.
god.
Hey, I can't talk about. They're freaking dead. They're already like
Be able to bust
reverse
through that.
necrophiles.
Oh yeah.
Who knows what else they like?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the
I
opposite
don't think
of
they're having a
necrophilia?
sex drive.
Like unnecrophilia.
About
Well, because if you're
Clementine.
dead and you like
About what happened
living
back there
people.
on the street.
I know. I don't know what happened.
Is that regular sex?
You
Because
don't know what happened.
Oh
You're
my
an
god.
They're
asshole.
dead.
We're like
Just hear what I'm saying.
Creepy.
we're like
You put that girl in
regular
danger
people,
again.
or we're like dead
Walk
phobic or
us
whatever.
not
We don't
worry
treat
about
regular people like
I hear
human
you.
beings because we just consider human like living sex to be
Think we can
normal.
get
We're
in through one of these
normalizing that.
windows?
We're
Man, I don't
bad.
think
What are
so.
you talking
I have
about?
no idea.
Yeah. Looks pretty solid.
You and your necrophobia.
How do you
My
think
necro.
Kenny's-
Yes,
don't
exactly.
be such a necrophobe. You
A
need to be more
nec-
PC. out there.
That sounds ridiculous.
I am. I'm a
That would be
necrophobe.
funny.
Sex is between a living person and another living
Not
person.
deal with it in its own way.
Or sheep if
I'm
you
gonna
live
go
in.
check things out.
I don't know.
Florida.
All right.
What's this? Looks like there's some kind of pet door here.
Let's send Clementine into the pet door.
It's
There won't
locked
be a
too.
zombie cat.
Who the hell ever heard of a locked doggy door?
I have. My
Zombie
neighborhood went
apocalypse.
just like that. It's
Duh.
radio controlled. The dog wears a collar with a chip in it, so the door only opens when the dog gets close to
That's
That's
smart as
smart.
hell.
Shit. Every day's a school day.
Being a cat would be more useful.
Buried here.
But a zombie dog would be the most horrifying thing
I feel like
ever.
it would be because people would be like, "Oh, a puppy! Oh,
Don't
let
do
me
it.
Well,
touch
and
it," and then it
dogs
would eat
dogs
your
are
face.
fast as hell and they're really strong.
True. Like,
That's
don't
true.
do it, game. Don't do
Zombie
it.
dog.
That.
You need to dig
And
up
like,
the
who
dirt
looks
mound.
like that?
That-
The radio
Grecian
collar on the
gods.
dog.
Yes.
The radio collar on the dead dog will get you through the pet door. So
Ooh,
use
bam.
the.
Yes, true.
Hey,
The dog's
be careful.
cool.
Digging up dead things isn't what it used to be, you know what I
Shut
mean?
the fuck up.
Omid.
I hear you.
He knows all about digging up dead things. You know what I mean.
And apparently,
Is he a necrophile?
I'm gonna
Liac.
assume
Probably.
he's a necrophile.
Necrophile.
He loves them dead people.
Ooh, gross.
Clementine, honey, come sit with
I feel
me.
like this
a
video
minute.
is gonna get
Let
more
me
and more
work.
like lewd.
They
yeah.
are being very kind considering you knocked him out of the freaking
Well,
train.
they literally mentioned like we need. They'd be perfect for what we need. You don't know who they are. They might not be useful for
They're
what we
probably
need.
leaving him here.
So there's something they need from us.
The kid. Oh,
That is
gross.
not a dog, or is it? I
That
don't.
was a
That
dog.
was a
Decomposed
dog.
That was a dog at some
The
point.
carcass.
It
Carcass.
must have belonged to someone, really.
Look at the carcass.
Lee, you're so intelligent.
Ew.
Can't get it off.
Hold on, then unbuckle it. Oh.
Ew.
It's not.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Oh,
Are you okay?
In a world of
Ooh,
zombies,
there's
you're
a people
gonna
back
throw
there.
up.
Or those just trees.
It's just the
Missing
same.
things?
Yeah, those are just trees.
Are you sure you're...
I said I'm fine, okay? Whatever you're gonna
I
do,
love how the
do it
zombies
fast.
are like.
Rabble,
You
rabble.
know, they don't like moan. They go blah.
Rabble, rabble, rabble is correct.
Rabble,
Careful,
rabble, rabble.
man.
Can we maybe have this conversation inside? My leg's starting to hurt like hell.
Oh, it's just now starting to hurt? Especially so cold.
I'm more worried about whoever it was out there ringing that bell and bringing the dead down on top of us. It's like they didn't want us to make it to the river.
What makes you think it's not the same person? Whoever was on the radio was close enough to see us in the street. And
Oh,
we didn't
goody,
see
yes,
anyone
side
else other than
story.
the guy in the bell tower.
Because that doesn't make a lick of damn sense. Why would they bring out the dead like that and then try to warn us about it?
Because there's two different groups of people,
How much sense
dumbass.
does anything make anymore? In case you haven't noticed,
They're
there's a lot of
stopping
twisted
us.
folks out there these days. At least the dead
to
don't
say it
play
like
games
that.
with you.
Whoever it was. Seems
the
like
problem
they
is I'm
followed
having
us.
trouble caring that much
Like
about what I
being
pick.
followed.
All the more reason to
Yeah,
get on a
should we
damn
just play
boat
random
where we
picky
can't
tag?
be
No, it's
followed.
like it's just
I'm not going
because
back out there anytime soon.
in this case
Omid needs to rest.
when I don't know what the consequences of what I'm saying are going to be, when I don't know why I should care.
I'm with Kenny.
Yeah, and that's exactly
Once it's
one of the
quieted
problems with
down
this game is
outside,
that
we'll all
like
head
You
to
don't
the
give a shit
river
about the
together.
characters.
Do
they
you?
don't make it. They don't telegraph very well what the
Suit
consequences of making a
yourselves.
choice are
I'm not
going
going to
to
wait around
Well,
too
it's
long
like
for
they in
someone
some
else to
cases
grab
they
up
either
those
they either
boats.
telegraph
That's
too
our
well
ticket
or
out
make
of
it
here.
seem as though it's utterly like ambiguous. Like it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So it's like either you think there's no
Some
consequences, or you can tell
I'll feel
exactly
better
what the
when we know
outcome
that
is
for
going to
sure.
be.
Right, and
We need to
that
check the whole
that
house.
middle ground is what you really want to strive for, and what they completely
You and
fail
me
to
will take the
achieve.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Lee, you've got down here. Make sure you check every door. Understand?
Okay.
So it really goes between either you are watching a sequence of something happening that's dramatic, and you're going to have to do some action here and there,
What if there's another
Or-
locked door?
I
you're
think you've
solving
been
a
helpful
meaningless
enough for
puzzle,
one day, kiddo.
like the one
Why don't you
outside.
just
Yeah.
see if Kristen knows
That's
you
always
need
super,
anything, okay?
super simple.
Okay.
But a total pain in the ass to figure out. because-
Sometimes, sometimes they're a pain in the ass just because you don't know what you're supposed to check, and other times you're just walking around doing nothing,
Right.
or making meaningless choices in conversation. So now we're back in the second stage where we're looking at things. Well, it just feels so anticlimactic because either it's obvious that nothing has any bearing on your current motion through the game.
No. You just ripped Walter's head off.
I don't care. It was already dead. So
And it wasn't a
and
child.
so is the person who was living here probably. So but the problem is that either you're looking at stuff that has no bearing on your playing the game,
Cleaned out.
or you find something and you're like, oh, I can obviously use this later, and most of
Right.
the time, obviously, oh, and I can't go around the island, or I can obviously use it for X purpose, and you know exactly what that is.
Yes.
So that is my biggest issue with the game, is just that either it's incredibly obvious, or it doesn't mean anything at all to your gameplay.
So this style of game, it's reminiscent very much of old point-and-click adventure games.
Yeah.
One of the deals with point-and-click adventure games, like classics like Grim Fandango, any of the LucasArts games,
Choose your own adventure.
Monkey Island, Full Throttle, Day of the Tentacle, etc. Part of the deal with those games is that you collect a wide variety of inventory and then have to figure out what situations to apply it. There's some personal intellect, some personal context
Yeah.
that you make with making those decisions, which I feel like this game does not have. It's either blatantly obvious what you do and why you use it, or there's no point in everything and you just have to click the button until you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, and especially considering that in some of the games like this, some of the value comes from looking around and actually just learning stuff about the environment that you're in.
The world building.
However, that makes no difference in a game that's post-apocalypse. So being in a house like this where I'm looking around at the photos that they have and looking
All
at the
clear in
fridge and the
here.
drawing on the fridge, it's like, why would I ever do that? That makes more sense to keep it in the background and just be able to see, oh, there's a picture on the fridge and it's of the dog. And that would also be easier to ascertain if you weren't using a locked camera. If it was something more like the way that Life is Strange does it, where it's over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
And you have
completely agree
access
with
to
you.
more detail.
So, having played the Telltale games for The Wolf Among Us and for Game of Thrones,
There's a Game of Thrones.
there's a Game of Thrones, and it's very good.
Part
Part of the advantage those games have is that not only, I think they tell much better stories, personally. Because I'm really not very into to the story this game is telling, but that's personal. One of the advantages those games have is that they use the background elements, the exploration and the investigation, as ways of building the world,
How's it
adding
coming?
elements, and explaining situations to you that you can't otherwise understand. Whereas this is a post-apocalyptic game that happens in a contemporary setting. It's not even like a Mad Max post-apocalypse, which is happening hundreds of years from now in a strange world. This game happens in 2010 or 11, after the world's end. Everybody knows how this fucking system works. So it doesn't make any sense to make us sort of jerk off through all this.
Take dog food. Look at sink.
Also, something that really bothers
world
me.
building is totally atrocious in a system where you already are part of the world.
Yeah, where the world is immediately obvious and makes perfect sense. Something else that really bothers me, they really should unhighlight things after they stop being useful.
Exactly,
So
yes.
that you don't need to keep thinking there's a thing there when you're
Especially,
hunting for something
and
that
it
you've
locks you
missed.
into the animation with it.
Yes, that is so frustrating.
What happened? It's just a friend. I don't think he wants to hurt us.
What has he been saying to you? What have you been saying to him?
Didn't he say that he has her parents?
I told him I was
Yes.
trying to find my parents and that they were in Savannah. He really seems nice. I think he wants to help me find them.
Clementine.
He's
Honey,
extorting
trust
you,
me,
child.
That's not what he wants. He
Lee?
Oh, hell no.
We're going to Narnia.
I thought he heard something up there.
Evil
Found a
Narnia.
closet in there.
He's
Zombie
up there?
Narnia.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell is that? Oh, my God.
It's a kid chained up. Is that his kid?
No, that's not his
That's not
kid.
Duck.
We shot Duck in the
Yeah,
head.
but it sure freaking looks like
We
it.
Yeah,
shot
that's a
Duck
lot
and
like
left him in the woods.
You can do this, Kenny. You need to do this.
It is very, very overt what it's actually trying to accomplish. I think it works, but
Whoa! Let's stomp him. Don't waste bullets.
Don't make noise.
Stomp his brain.
oh god, that's true, but it's
Just club him. It's easier.
Yeah, don't shoot him. Stomp him. Stomp his ass.
Club.
Stomp.
Faster makes less noise.
Yeah, let Kenny watch you bash it. The kid
Kenny?
who looks like his son. In.
have a good long look. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Me too, Lee.
Ew.
It wasn't so bad.
Hit him again. Go on.
Also, once
He's
again,
gone.
it's a kid.
You chose to do it yourself.
Yeah, kids are gross.
We should bury
Yes,
him.
they are. Yeah, I think this scene honestly would have been more effective if we had found the kid not zombified. If we had found a kid who just legitimately died having starved to death.
Well, he did. He just then
Yeah, but then he's
zombified
zombified,
afterward.
and then he's a little like creeper, and he's like crawling around and doing stuff and can't walk. They make it the over macabreness of it almost makes it comedic, or just robs it of some of the emotional value that finding something like that I think does.
Yeah, 'cause
But
like,
at the
we
same
must smack
time-
him
But
on
that's the
head.
point of a zombie apocalypse, is that it makes everything just grimdark and takes away your ability to actually feel an emotional connection to something like this.
Yeah. One of the
She's
things I
ready.
can kind of agree with in terms of the burying is that as a repetitive and mundane task, the burying, at least, like, you have to feel the weight of each load of dirt.
And it just has such a final aspect to it.
Yeah, like, you're actually doing something that, like, bears the repetitive nature of it. You know, you're burying a child. Ladies, two dead kids.
The dead
I'm
children.
fine.
Yes.
To dead children.
I'm fine. What's all the ruckus?
The thing that sucks for me is because I'm actually liking this, I'm like, I kind of want to go through it, like, on my own anyway, but then I'm like, but I have to play it again. I don't want to play it again.
Sorry.
It's so long.
It's just the fact that you have so much wait time. It has enough input that you can't just sit back and relax, but it has
But-
so much wait time that it makes it so long and awful to play.
I feel
to
you
play
on both
through.
counts.
Much better.
Agreed.
What happened back there in the attic?
No.
You sure, man? I mean,
River's right up ahead. Whatever, man. I find whoever's doing that, I'll ring their motherfucking bell for them.
Ooh, Kenny, you're so tough.
You know what I mean.
Never right.
I'd like to ring your bell, Kenny.
Isn't there a song about that?
Hey.
My bell.
Just keep
I
moving.
I'd ring
music,
Kenny's
sorry.
bell.
Would you?
With that handlebar
With the
mustache, I'd sit
mustache?
on his face.
The mustache.
Who wants a mustache ride? I do. That always makes me think of
I can't wait until he gets a beard.
Still
Super
nothing moving
Troopers.
behind.
Yes.
Who wants a
Think we're-
mustache ride? I do.
I'll edit things that aren't really related to game content.
All of our discussion will be in there. All of our talking about peeing and all of our talking about drinking will probably not be.
What drinking?
How in the hell
This
did they get
reminds
those
me-
people up on spikes?
What was the, like, the Baron von something or other that would stick people on spikes?
Vladimir.
Vladimir. He's
Vladimir
the one
the
where-
Vlad the Impaler. Yes.
Yeah. Up the butt, out through the mouth.
They're based on
Yep.
You
Dracula.
live for like
Yeah.
3 years.
That's going
Or
in the
not 3
video.
years, 3
Up the
lives.
butt,
or
through the
3
mouth, that's
days.
3 lives.
3 lives.
You live for 3 lives.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh.
They constantly make him say things
That are just
that are just
stupid.
totally like. You have to be at least a little bit of a utilitarian after the apocalypse has happened.
I
and-
feel like.
Think.
You would
Oh
thi-
no,
yeah, you
those
would
poor
think.
zombies! Those guys must be such sick bastards. No, they're taking control
Yeah,
of
you
their
don't.
situation.
You don't
and-
become a cannibal, but there's nothing wrong taking advantage of the zombies after they've already been killed.
I feel like as soon as they're a zombie, they're not a person anymore.
And the weird thing about it is that it puts you at both ends of that spectrum. It makes you be the person who is being utilitarian in some instances when you're trying to persuade other people that they're being irrational. And then whenever you're up against someone who's more so than you, it puts you as like the hero and them as being too far.
Yeah.
But it's not them that's moving one way or the other, it's you.
Yeah.
Everyone else is essentially doing their own thing.
I agree.
Like I said, all
Lee,
this
you're a
stupid
flip-flopper.
infighting. It's like
That too, it's like it's unnecessary.
I
It's
can
just it's a
understand
really
your-
juvenile portrayal of
Yeah,
it. Like
your
it could have been
kid
way
got
better.
bit. I understand. It's sad, but the reality is you need to focus on who's alive right now, dude.
Well, I feel like if you're in this kind of like survival situation, like all that shit that we think that matters, like
Doesn't
for
anymore.
us being people in like a normal normal life, the life that we live, trying to think how they would think in survival times, like we can try and put our minds in there, but really, like, unless you're in that position.
Alright, Chicken Best is not a person who has been taunting us.
What? It's a synth or like a zombie or something?
No,
Which one do you want?
it's a person, but it's not the person who's been taunting us on the phone.
How the fuck?
It's a ninja!
How in the hell did that happen?
Why?
Jesus. Killer.
Lee the murderer.
No
But
one stays
when
in
I
Crawford
envision
unless
a
they can
community
hold their own
called
weight.
Crawford,
Otherwise,
it's
you're
right on the
just another
river
mouth
that has
to
expelled all of its unburdened. I imagine like people in top hats, and like I imagine the splicers from BioShock,
Yeah.
who have like
It just means
degenerated and turned into horrible monsters, but still retain their
Doesn't
sense
sound like
of
any
upper
kind of way
classdom.
to live to me.
And that actually sounds really cool. I have this image of like people sitting at the table and like killing zombies out their window or whatever. And being, like, you know, like they own.
hello,
They
Charles.
created their own like
Some tea.
private elderly
What was going on
paradise or
inside
something.
Crawford got passed around like a ghost story.
Fuck me. Come on, come on.
Not yet. Not yet, Kenny. Now is not the time.
Right now, baby.
He is here. Use that to pry it open.
Or to kill zombies. I mean, there aren't that many of them.
So there isn't a rule in video gaming, which I'm sure we're all aware of, that sewer levels always suck.
Oh, they're in the sewer? No, fuck that.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. We're dorks.
Riveting content.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's bad.
That's shit. I just wanna.
There's no way I could take on all of those things by myself.
Or you could. Well, you could try. Don't wanna live all by myself.
She's gonna listen to this on video.
Won't turn anymore in that direction.
And this is where we release the methane into the sewer and kill myself.
You know, I didn't think you said methane for just a second. I thought you were saying release the meth.
Yes. Release the meth into the sewer. That'll keep us going for much longer than food.
Well, that's what we really want, is methed out zombies. They're kind of slow right now, but if we give them some methed out zombies, that would be even worse. Chuck!
Bastard.
Oh god, it is.
Where did he get a gun?
No bullets.
Oh god, they killed Charles.
Last one for himself.
Charles is dead.
You deserve better, old man.
That kind of sucks. I kind of liked him.
Kind of.
What if that's Lily's zombie? Are we gonna spend the rest of the game just waiting for her to come back?
I feel like she's gonna be super pissed at
We
them
spend
when
the
she
rest of the game waiting for previous parts of the game to be mentioned.
Huh.
That's
Which they
basically what
never
happens.
will be.
God of. You don't even need.
Oh, there's
to,
a hole behind that.
You don't even need to jump on the wall, though. That's the thing. Like. And that's the one time where I've seen a hand above the eye.
Yeah, seriously, like every other time the hand's been below it.
So you've had to move it. And then that time it's like, oh, it's a good thing I was paying attention.
Don't just leave the hole open, dumbass. Oh.
Where did you come from?
You don't look that old, so you're sick?
We're sick. We're all members of a cancer survivors group that used to meet here at the hospital. Well, that sewer system you came through runs all over the city. It'll take you wherever you want to go.
Ah, the rat people.
Those sewers are like a
Oh
damn
god, can you
maze.
imagine like mole people
Any
or rat
chance you
people
could help me find my way
zombies?
back?
That would be the
I'd like
worst.
to help you, but we've all got our own problems.
Krista, what's wrong?
It's Omid. He's gotten worse. Much worse.
He's a zombie.
Where's
Seems very
Clementine?
familiar.
Don't ask me. I'm
I'll
not
look
a
up who
keeper.
she is.
Hey, do I look like I'm in the mood to be jerked around? Where did she go?
When the game sets you up so
I don't
obviously
care
to
about that.
dislike someone, it
Just
makes
wanna
me think
find
that there's
Clementine.
some reason that I should be trusting her more.
No sign of her in
Yeah,
here.
because everyone you're supposed to like feels like they eventually kind of
either don't help you. Everyone that you're supposed to dislike provide some benefit if you like them. I mean, it's one of those tropes in a game that's very easy to manipulate, especially if it's obvious that that is what they're doing. I might be wrong, but it seems like that's what they've done here.
Feels like that to me too.
I might as well try it. But just hope it doesn't make me sit down and go through a huge sequence.
Time to rest later.
Good.
Doesn't look like
Why is that even an option?
Chekhov's sofa.
Clementine,
So
where
you
are
know
you?
about it later.
I'm pretty over this.
Clementine,
Yeah.
come out, please.
Yeah, it stopped having dramatic tension and started just kind of being
Annoying. Where the fuck is Clementine?
I hate these kinds of sequences.
Don't think anyone came in through there.
Mainly because the only thing that they're trying to make you sustain, they're trying to make Clementine's disappearance, ostensible disappearance, sustain tension throughout this entire sequence and make that the only thing that keeps you going. But the story seems to consistently move from one motivation to another without having anything consistent to go by. Except maybe finding Clementine's parents and then also finding a boat. Those are kind of overarching themes, but they take a backseat to everything else.
agreed.
And, I mean, again, that is the way an actual zombie apocalypse would be, but it makes this really, really dull. Why did you do that? Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Come look.
Hey, girl.
Come lie down.
What you doing, girl?
Where'd you go, girl? I'm mad at you, but whatever. What'd you find? Food?
A boat. Ah!
I'm on a boat.
Hey, Kenny.
I'm on a boat.
Kenny, get off your drunk ass and help us.
Kenny, you know how a boat works.
Holy shit!
Whoa.
I know, right?
Gas tank's empty and the battery's dead.
Fixable.
So what's the good news?
That's it. That's all she needs. Some gas and a battery. Other than that, she's good to go.
Well, what about this Crawford place? Sounds like they'd have everything we need. Maybe we should try there.
There might actually be a way. I know the sewer system that runs beneath Crawford like the back of my hand.
Why do you know that, Doctor?
Y'all wouldn't
Ratman.
happen to have a map by any chance.
He's a rat person.
Yeah, actually.
Dr. Rat Person. MD.
That boat out there is an
Is he
answered
gonna drive our
prayer.
boat? Happens to the
Just
best of
gotta
us.
push
I'm on
a little
boat.
bit farther. Are you in or out?
Will there be homework?
No homework.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh.
Happens to me all the
Things
time.
will ever be normal again. Just
That's
like
going
the
in.
way they
You have
were
to edit
before.
that.
Put that after the credits of this episode.
Oh my god, no.
It may take a while, but yeah. I do. Don't you?
I hope so.
Oh my
That's
god.
good. You hold on to that hope.
The thing that's awful.
Actually, you can't put that in because I feel like you're a big Dr. Green laugh.